I don't even think that Nick Khan could adequately surmise the landscape in the sport of boxing and why there is actually a need for an alternative framework. Not a replacement, not obligatory, not mandated, but a second option, a choice, because at the very most, that's what Zufa is. It's an alternative to the existing framework, not a replacement. Even if the act gets passed, that doesn't then mean that every boxer with a boxing license has to now sign to Zufa. So I don't know why people talk about it as if that's the case. That no, even if they do make, even if it does get passed, you still have a choice. You can do things the way that things have been done before the Revival Act, or you can try Zufa out. And you hear a lot of people throwing around a lot of buzzwords like, oh, monopoly. What fucking monopoly, bro? What do you know what a monopoly is? Because just the act of there being the old framework and the new framework, right? That means it's not a monopoly because Zufa doesn't own Matchroom, do they? Do they own Matchroom? Golden Boy, PBC, Top Rank, Queensbury, No Limit Promotions, RSS in Russia? No, right? RCC. Do they own them? No. So how is it a monopoly? Don, what it do? MW2, what it do? Round one, what it do? Devil. I just think it's a lot of people that are too ignorant, too stupid, and too lazy to actually read through the literature to evaluate the pros and cons of the Revival Act. The most immediate con that I can see is it would introduce another title into existence, into the sport, which, yeah, that would be a bad thing if they weren't eliminating 8 other titles. See, if the Revival Act gets passed, the WBA doesn't get to have 4 of the same belt at one weight anymore. And the WBC doesn't get to have 4 of the same belt at one weight anymore. That's 8 belts between 2 organizations. 8 belts. So if what it takes to get rid of those 8 belts is one Zufa belt, well, that's basic arithmetic. Yes, one Zufa belt is better than having a WBA Gold and a WBA Interim and a WBA Regular and a WBA Super and a WBC Franchise and a WBC Diamond and a WBC Interim. You see? It's common sense, a lot of it. And I just think that, look, when you deal with the general public enough, whether you're in the service industry, the retail industry, or if you're a content creator, and you generally get to see how the general public's minds work, what you immediately realize is that most of these people are fucking morons. Like, yeah, a lot of y'all are stupid. You don't know it because you're stupid. A lot of these people are just like, yeah, like a lot of y'all is fucking retarded. You're acting as if the Revival Act being passed would force fighters to now go fight for Zufa. There have already been fighters that rejected their overtures. Jarrell Miller rejected going to Zufa. Vito Milnicki rejected going to Zufa. Brendan Adams rejected going to Zufa. But where they rejected going over there, Richardson Hitchens went. Edgar Berlanga went. Connor Ben went. My question is, why are you so afraid of them having a choice? That's all it is a choice. The fighters have a choice. Chung, what it do? Pork chop, what it do? He said 100 and it's the truth, pork chop. It's the truth. There's a reason that in previous eras of boxing, the middleweight champion was immediately identifiable. The heavyweight champion was immediately identifiable. Across the original 8 weight classes in the sport of boxing, there was a time, and for most of its history, a division's champion was immediately recognizable to the masses. Why? Because there weren't so many of them. There was no argument. But now you got this guy holding this belt, this guy holding that one. Those guys, they got what they got, right? It makes it confusing. And ultimately, because it's easier to become a champion now, since there are more belts to fight for, Because it's easier to become a champion now, the sport is watered down. It is not an argument that boxing is no longer a mainstream sport in this country. No, it's not. MLB, NHL, NBA, NFL, those are the mainstream sports. And somewhere in between the 80s and the early 2000s, boxing dwindled, boxing declined. And what happened around that same time? These guys started mass producing belts: interim, gold, world, regular, super, diamond, franchise, intercontinental, interstellar, intestinal, interpersonal. You got a WBC interpersonal belt. If you have a good conversation with somebody, they give you the interpersonal belt. And these people don't seem to think that that's a problem. Maybe it's because they're too young and they can't remember what boxing used to be like. Maybe it's because they're too fucking stupid and too fucking lazy to really evaluate the pros and cons of the Revival Act. Shout out to Virtuoso. Nico Wally Walsh and Oscar De La Hoya aren't smart enough to ask Congress why the existing Ali Act hasn't been enforced for the last 26 years. Most of the people online that argue in favor of the Ali Act don't seem to understand there is not a task force somewhere in a government building that is gonna, spin down the pole like the firefighters do and sound the alarm when the Ali Act gets violated. People violate the Ali Act all the time. They do it right in front of you. Samson Lukowicz told Edwin De Los Santos that he was going to make X amount of dollars for the Davis fight. He was trying to short him. The number's fuzzy, but I remember it was like he told him 300,000 when he really stood to make 4 or 5. It was something like that. And that happened right in front of everybody. That happened right in front of everybody. So that you could turn around and say, the Ali Act, the Ali Act. Well, where the fuck was the Ali Act to protect Edwin De Los Santos? Why do you think he left Samson Lukowicz? Why do you think he left him right after that? These people, to me, these people are silly. I don't really like posting on X, and I don't really like talking to people on X because most of those people are fucking retarded. I had some idiot in Ireland arguing about Floyd didn't say Al stole his money. Yes, the fuck he did. It's in the lawsuit. I don't know how many times. Al Haymon is the architect of a scheme to defraud Floyd Mayweather, unjust enrichment. But the reason he's going after Showtime and not Al is because Al doesn't have $340 million. He fucking spent it already, you idiot. That's why he's going after Showtime, so he can get his money back from them. I shouldn't have to explain this to full-grown adults, but I keep assuming that people are on the level, and I keep forgetting, yo, dog, most people walking the street, driving down the road, on the highway, on the interstate, they're fucking morons. Most people are fucking morons. He sat there and argued the shit for 10 minutes. You can go to the literal court documents of Floyd Mayweather's lawsuit, and he names Al Haymon as the architect, the mastermind of the whole plot. But the reason he's not the defendant is because Al doesn't have $340 million to give him. Sue him for $340 million to get back what? He doesn't have it. He spent it already. So you go after his codees. You go after Showtime, who does have money. Like I thought that was common sense. I'm like, and I keep forgetting how fucking stupid a lot of these people are. Like, yeah, something wrong with you. Straight up. You function well enough to have a job and pay your bills and drown your sorrows in alcohol. You function well enough to do that, to do the basics. But for a conversation as intricate and nuanced as this, you don't have a seat at the table. You shouldn't be here. Straight up. None of this is hard to understand. It's not for love of Dana White. I'm not a fan of Dana White. I don't watch UFC. I think it's gay. I don't watch that shit. I am going to watch Gina and Ronda fight because I hope some gay shit happens. If they start making out, I'm jerking off. Straight up. I'm jerking off. And I don't care. But that aside, I don't give a fuck about Dana White or a Zufa belt. What I care about is policing the activity of the sanctioning bodies. What I care about is offering the fighters an alternative to the existing framework because the existing framework doesn't work. It doesn't work. Yeah, you seen that shit? This is a guy who literally got chased out of the music industry after attempting to defraud Beyonce. And this is who you want to defend. You I find it scary that people can be that fucking stupid. It's scary because these are the people that are walking on the sidewalk. These are the people that are driving next to you and behind you and in front of you. These fucking morons. Yeah, let's defend Al Haymon so that I don't have to admit that I'm wrong, so that I don't have to admit that I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Let me defend Al Haymon. You know? Because that's what the fucking shit is. It's just a lot of people that don't want to be wrong. At the end of the day, that's why I don't like arguing with people on Twitter. They're beneath me. I don't have a problem saying that. I'm not elitist. You're just dumb. You're just dumb. Straight up. You're not the kind of people, you're not the kind of person that I would cross the street to spit on because that's how dumb you are. Why waste my time? It's not about liking Dana. It's about not liking the existing framework. That's what it's about. You think the sanctioning bodies are doing their job? I said it, and they're very careful which tweets they react to. They're very, very selective because they know they don't have an answer for what I'm saying. Kenya Enriquez, on two separate occasions, across two separate divisions, fought her way to interim champion. And on two separate occasions, she was left in limbo for 3 years. For 3 years, for a grand total of 6, without getting her title shot. This is the system you're defending. This is the system you're defending. And no, there was no step aside money. There was no big money on the side. It's hard enough for women to get exposure in boxing. But how bad is it that because you're friends with Pepe Gomez, you're going to keep Kenya away from his champion? Because that's what it was. Everybody who's actually clued in knows that. The reason they never ordered the fight between her and Yesenia Gomez is because Mauricio is buddy-buddy with Pepe Gomez. And this happens in front of you every day. And you don't react to it because you're not the good guys. You want to pretend you're the good guys, that you're going to fight for a cause. Motherfucker, you don't got the energy and the reading comprehension to fight for any fucking cause. You're too stupid to fight for any fucking cause. That's why when somebody like me talks, what you should do is shut the fuck up and listen, because I did all the reading that you didn't do. Reading is not hard for me. It's hard for you, which is why you don't do it. All this shit is a matter of public record. You're telling me that raising the national average for what a fighter gets per round is a bad thing? How is that a bad thing? They're raising the national average for what a fighter gets per round. They're limiting how many titles the sanctioning bodies can have in rotation at one weight. And you're trying to convince me that that's a bad thing. What's the bad part? What's the bad part? But Zmufa, but Dama. I just think a lot of motherfuckers is retarded. I just think a lot of motherfuckers is straight up retarded. There's too many people out there that are arrogant enough to argue about a subject they didn't bother to research. Everything you know about the Ali Revival Act is secondhand information that you read on Twitter. The literature has been out for months. For you to look over it and say, you know what, that's good, that's good, that's good. I'm 100% sure all those people in the comments section of my post didn't read it, just like they didn't read Floyd Mayweather's lawsuit. How do I know you didn't read it? Because it's like 18 fucking pages, bro. I don't think Joe Blow, who isn't the content creator, has any reason to read through 18 pages of legal papers. The only reason I did it is because I'm a content creator. I made content about it. It's not complicated. There needs to be an alternative, not a replacement, an alternative. Not a replacement. No one is obligated to sign to Zufa. What part of that do you guys not understand? If the law passes, nobody has to go to Zufa. You could still go sign a Matchroom. You could still go to Golden Boy. You could sign a long-term extension. Dalton Smith just did. Sky Nicholson just did. Shannon Ryan just did. Couple of fighters over there at Matchroom, in spite of everything that's going on, they signed long-term extensions to Matchroom. You have a choice. But you guys are acting like giving the fighters a choice is worse than them not having a choice, because you're retarded. It's because you're retarded. I'm sorry, but let's lay it out on the line. A lot of y'all are not smart. You're not. You don't want to hear that. No, it isn't a nice thing to say, but it's the truth. A lot of y'all is dumb as a box of rocks. You don't have the intellect to argue this type of shit. That's why everything is not for everybody. Because you're not smart enough to argue this shit. You're not. Shakram Giyasov has been waiting for a title shot for 2 years and counting. Even if you want to make the argument that he took step aside money, okay, Rolly's free right now. He's free right now. What's stopping the WBA from saying Rolly Romero must fight the winner of Giyasov versus Catterall? What's stopping him? You have one job. There's only one thing you're here to do. Move the ranks along. That's all you're here to do. And you don't do that. What you do is mass produce belts so that you can make more money. Not give boxing structure, not give it a hierarchy. No, you just make a bunch of belts so you could get money from him, and him, and him, and him as a favor to them. That's what they do. And this is the system y'all are trying to protect. I could have swore a couple of years ago what people were asking for was for there to be less belts in the sport of boxing. The Revival Act, it does that. Yeah, you don't get to make 4 or 5 belts anymore. And if you want to crown an interim champion, there has to be a good reason. You got to stop double dipping. You got to stop. Those are keep busy belts. You know what those belts are? Those belts are a way for the sanctioning bodies to hold your title shot to ransom. That's what they are. See, Cuello is the WBA interim champion. WBA interim. But who got the title shot? Brandon Figueroa. Brandon Figueroa. So if you're Cuello, yo, why did I just pay y'all for all these fights? I paid y'all all these sanctioning fees. I got to pay y'all sanctioning fees for this interim belt too, because if I don't, I lose my spot. If I don't do that, if I don't do this, I lose my spot and there goes my title shot, right? And this is the system y'all working to protect. All they do with those belts is hold title shots to ransom, because now it forces you to abide by the mandate. Oh, you got the interim title, you got to defend it. because you're the interim champion. And if you don't, you lose your spot, you lose your title shot. Let's go. Claymore Rain, what it do?
Jules was good.
Ain't
You,
shit.
talk, you talking that shit again. You talking that shit again.
I'm just fucking tired of this. Like, you know what bothers me, Claymore? I could tell we in the same age group, right? I'm in
Yep.
my early 40s, you know?
I'm late 40s, but
Right? And I just get tired of seeing these dumb young motherfuckers arguing about, like, you don't understand this shit. Shut the fuck up. You don't understand this shit. You ain't been watching boxing longer than me, motherfucker. I could name motherfuckers that got fucked over off the top of my head like family members.
Hadir
With,
Herrera. Talk to
right?
him. You could go down the list, bro. It's nonstop nonsense. And what you're saying about all these belts is exactly what the problem is. All of a sudden, we're fighting for promoters, Jules. All of a sudden, what about Oscar? What about Eddie? What about Al? I mean, they're not saying it, but that's what they're saying, right? Because at the end of the day, the beef is with Dana. But what about all the fighters who are building a whole new brand, whole bunch of activity, money, recovery, nutrition, all types of perks that they're getting? Listen to what the fighters are saying. No, fuck what the fighters are saying. It's ridiculous. It's
Yo, dog,
absolutely ridiculous.
and I don't even want to sound like I'm the Zufa guy. I'm not the Zufa. I don't give a fuck about Dana White, bro. I don't watch UFC. That shit is gay. Unless it's some girls rolling on the floor, rubbing their thighs on each other, I don't even want to watch that shit. It's gay, bro. Okay?
You're not into the full guard?
No,
You're not
I'm,
into
I'm
the
no,
full
I'm
guard?
not. I'm watching Gina and Ronda fight because I love them and I want to have sex with both of them and I want them to have sex with each other, right?
You got
I'm
something in
watching,
common. Both of y'all like girls. That's what's up.
right. So I'm not defending Dana. I'm saying boxing is fucked up. Something got to be wrong with you to look at what's been going on and act like boxing ain't fucked up. The biggest name and the highest earning boxer in the history of boxing just got fucked over in front of
Yeah.
all of y'all.
Yep.
And you gonna act like something not wrong with boxing?
Oh, the chickens are coming home to roost, Jules. The chickens are coming home to roost. And this is, they've been making excuses for why Errol hasn't returned. Even Javante Tank Davis, who I'm not a fan of like that, is like, I'm not doing this shit. Right? He's like, I'm not doing this shit. Jake, send me the contract, bro. I'll do this. I'm not doing this shit. I'm not fighting Lamont for free, Shakur for free, Devin for free. We're not doing this no more. And they even just try to screw Devin over with the back end money and with the pay-per-view model that
With the
died 4 years
with the
ago.
GoFundMe, it's the the shit is it's the GoFundMe model, bro. It's not, see, pay-per-view is never gonna go anywhere. I know for a fact if tomorrow Canelo announced the Benavidez fight, over 1 million people are gonna buy that fight. I know tomorrow if they announce Shakur Stevenson versus Javante Davis, over 1 million people are gonna buy that fight. There will always be fights like that. The disconnect is every fight ain't like that.
Right.
Benavidez versus Zerto is not that. Ryan Garcia versus Barrios is
No.
not that. Right?
No.
Devin Haney versus Rolly Romero. Fam, you need to do that on a Friday.
Yes.
Okay? You need to
Bring
do
it
that
back.
on a Friday
Bring it back.
at a budget of $3 million. Right?
Period.
Tops. All right.
Yeah.
Devin gets 2, Rolly gets 1, and we get a fight. The problem is, and I talk about that shit endlessly, so I don't want to stray too far off the topic. You hit the nail on the head. Talk to the fighters. What has Robert Garcia been saying? My guys that have been making 4,000 a fight, they go over to Zufa, they're getting five figures now. They getting taken care of. They don't have any camp fees because they training at the Apex, at the training center, right?
That's the best. They're getting the best too. The Apex ain't like a second to none. They're like, bro, they're getting the best recovery, the best workouts, the best conditioning, the best nutrition. They're getting everything. So all that money comes home to them. They're right. These guys are boxing for a career, Jules. They're not part-time boxers.
They're seeing more of their own money, period. No sanctioning fees. For some guys, no manager fee. Yeah, no manager fee because it's all baked in like a fucking meatloaf. Yep. For some guys, no manager fee. Some guys, not all, because they're still working that out. No camp fees. you get more of your own purse. I said it from the get. Zufa is not for a Shakur Stevenson. He's too big. It's not for a Devin Haney. It's not for a Crawford. It's not for a Canelo. It's of no use to them. But for the fighters in the chicken gizzard circuit that are normally taken advantage of, Zufa could be a good thing for them. For those guys. Yeah, for them, it could be a good.
Jules, what do you think about the evolution of the athlete who from a young age is not starving himself, is not doing 0 carbs before a fight? What kind of development? I'm talking about on a scientific level, 5 to 10 years down the line, what kind of athlete, what kind of champion are we going to see coming out of a system like that? Let's be honest.
I wholeheartedly believe that yesterday's athlete, I'm talking about Smoking Joe Frazier, Ernie Shavers, Larry Holmes. I'm talking about Roy Jones. I'm talking about guys from the way back. Those were not only better fighters in terms of fighting acumen, but they were better physical specimens because they were coming from harsher conditions. When you hear about what Joe Frazier had to do to get to the fucking gym, to even train.
Yeah.
And then you wonder why he had an engine to fight like his life depended on it for 15 fucking rounds, right? You're not going to see that kind of guy again. You're not.
Yeah. I think you're going to see a more polished, you're going to see a lot more Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney-ish, even Gervonta Tank. You're going to see fighters. There's just something about being able to focus on your discipline full time and then get that nutrition and get all the attention that they're getting. I just think American boxing benefits in a way. Look at what the Eastern Europeans have done. I mean, but that goes back to what you said, right? They're coming from that grit, coming from Eastern Europe. They're not getting they're not getting treated like the fighters over here getting treated.
They're not getting coddled. They're not getting coddled. This is not, boxing is different from every other organized sport. Because in other organized sports, the coddling could actually be a good thing. The coddling. Boxing is the closest simile to life. Pressure makes diamonds. Harsh conditions breed great fighters. It's fighting. You can't have a guy that he's getting all this fucking money, right? And he could buy all this shit and he could lay up. And then you think he gonna want to fight? No, like fuck, I want to fight for. I'm trying to get a blowjob and then eat a Cuban sandwich after that. Like,
shout out to Jamal Charlo. Look at Jamal, bro. He can't hold it. Like, Jamal's a good fighter, but he can't help it. He on a jet ski trying to figure out, why do I need to jump in the ring? You know what I'm saying? Why? Right? I'm on a jet ski with a margarita. What am I doing? What are you talking about?
What am I doing? So going back to the stuff about the Ali Act. Once again, it is not about defending Dana White. It really isn't even about defending Zufa, even though I see the virtue of Zufa for certain fighters. I see the virtue of it for certain fighters. It's not for everybody, but those guys in the chicken gizzard circuit that are lucky if a Matchroom decides to use them as an opponent or a Top Rank decides to use them as an opponent. For those guys, Zufa could be good for them, but it isn't even about defending Zufa. It's about addressing the inequities of the existing framework, because for some reason, y'all acting like the shit been kooky crunchy, unicorns and rainbows and butterflies, and like your fight has been getting fucked over this whole time. Fuck is y'all talking about? Samson Lukowicz scamp motherfucking Edwin right in front of y'all. Y'all didn't say nothing. Y'all want to say something now because Dana's coming, but when that shit happened, it happened publicly. Keyshawn told Edwin on Twitter, yo, dog, we paying you more than that. I don't know what your people are telling you, but we paying you more than that. Where was these people that give so much of a fuck about the fucking fighters? It's disgusting.
100%, bro. 100%.
Go ahead, bro.
Hey, listen. What's up, Clay?
Doing good, family.
Man, don't get me started. I wish I had more topics I disagree with Jules with so I could go at Jules and he can kick me off the panel. I like that every once in a while. But unfortunately, in a situation like this fake-ass virtue signaling is crazy. Nobody wants to talk about the numerous different situations and circumstances that we can talk about in the last year that this happened in boxing. But everybody got Dana White, Zufa. I don't think Zufa's gonna be the downfall of boxing, y'all. I just don't think so.
Yo, Brim, here's the wild part. And it's not me rooting for them to fail or rooting for them to succeed. I don't even know that Zufa's going to work, to be real with you. It could be a polished turd. It could be an over expensive piece of shit that 5 years from now don't work, right? Because boxing really is like that. Like, yeah, like you could have a vanity project and nobody gives a fuck. Boxing is like that. So I don't know if it's going to work, but you hit the nail on the head. Zufa's not going to be the end of boxing. The Revival Act is not going to be the end of boxing. No, it's not. What it will do is police the sanctioning bodies, which has been my beef the whole time. Why the fuck do y'all got 4 of the same belt
Wait,
that one
hold up.
way?
Jules, what are you talking about? You got a problem with an interim, secondary, undisputed title?
Intestinal, interpersonal belt, bro. They got interpersonal belts, intergalactic belts, interim belt. Like, yo. And the weirdest thing is, not but 5 or 6 years ago, one of the most prevalent things that you heard from the boxing fan was there are too many belts in the sport of boxing. Yes, I agree. There are too many. Now, God bless the WBO and the IBF. They don't inundate these divisions with all these different belts. It's really just 2 organizations that do that. But they do it so much, it waters down the sport. Rolly is a welterweight champion that never actually fought a fucking welterweight. That is the joke that boxing has. That dude never fought a welterweight.
Crazy.
You and Ryan was new to this division. You and Ryan. How the
Made
fuck
up.
you a welterweight champion that never fought a welterweight?
Their very first fight at welterweight for a title, they never had to do anything, prove anything, beat anybody. But everybody wants to be up in arms about different stuff. And then they use the same stuff to say, oh, well, the Tank that fought all these champions. It was easy to call him a champion when you prop him up and move him ahead of the line of the people who actually put in years in the division. Like,
It's the
what the hell?
Yo, look at the ped shit. Look at the ped shit. Ryan Garcia coming off a doping violation and a doping suspension, coming off of all of that, the WBA says, yes, you can fight for one of our titles. Then what happens?
Jules.
Yo, then what happens? He
Keep
loses.
And
He
then what
loses.
happens?
He gets another title shot. And this is the shit that y'all defending. This shit. It's insanity.
Well, hold on, Jules. William Zepeda loses for a WBC title against Shakur Stevenson. They roll him right back into another WBC title shot against Lamont Roach. Skip Hadir Herrera, who just picked up an interim WBC title.
Right? It happens. It happens on a daily basis in front of all these fake ass activists, all these Antifa motherfuckers. Like, yeah, y'all, this shit happens all the time, y'all. And y'all don't say boo. Y'all don't say Bo Diddley. But because it involves Dana White, now I got to get the Captain America shield out. I got to fight for something.
Somebody mentioned something to Sean Sattel about why did you talk about Mayweather? And he said, I did, but you did it one time. You'll cover it and then keep it moving because that is not your focus because it doesn't fit your agenda.
It does. You know me, Brim. I hate everybody. I hate everybody or I love everybody. What I got to say about him, I also got to say about him. So all I'm saying is Al Haymon is a con man. And con men come in all shades, shapes, and sizes. They're con men that look like me. There's con men that look like Brim. There's con men that look like Steve fucking Kim. There are con men of every denomination. So if I say that Al Haymon is a con man, that's not the cue to march on Selma. I'm just calling a spade, okay? He got run out of the music event industry, concert events, why? For defrauding who? Attempting to defraud who? Beyonce. It's a matter of public record, but then get mad at me because I say the guy's a con man. There is no legitimate reason for Al Haymon to have any access to any amount of Floyd's money. That's the equivalent of your boss, of your shift supervisor at your job having access to your bank account. Why would that be the case?
Oh, damn, that's the equivalent with shit. I need that plan because I got 5 employees under me. I could definitely use some of their bank.
This shit don't make no sense. And the shit don't make no sense. And I'm not telling you that Dana White is a good guy or a bad guy, because organized sports are so bent that, in my opinion, there are no good guys and bad guys. I only look at it in terms of what works and what doesn't. What y'all don't like about Dana, what y'all don't like about him, is he does run a tight ship. Yeah, we're not going to hurt the organization for your fucking ego. We're not going to bleed red ink so that we could put you on pay-per-view and then it doesn't sell shit. We're not. All of that needs to stop. These guys will argue, oh, we love the fighters, we got to protect the fighters. Then turn around on Saturday night and steal a pay-per-view. Steal a pay-per-view.
Do a live on it too. Call it. Off the
stream, off of the next stream.
Because we love the fucking fighters so much, we're gonna steal from them. Yeah, these people. So I'm saying these people don't make no sense to me. They don't like nah. So the best thing. Listen, I ain't even gonna tell you how to live your life. You know what you do? If you see me posting on Twitter, here's what you do. Don't argue with me. Don't talk to me. Just scroll past me. I don't want to waste any amount of time on the lack of your fucking intellect. Because y'all the same ones claim y'all love the fighters and be the ones that steal from the fighters. But you know who the dickhead who bought Danny Garcia's pay-per-view is? This guy.
You definitely labeled it right. You are definitely a dickhead for buying that. You labeled that perfectly.
The shit is, listen, I'm a big believer in fucking karma. I'm not stealing shit. If somebody else wants to steal, I'm not judging you. I'm not your God. I'm just saying your perspectives don't make sense. If you care so much about the fighters, why would you steal from them? It's either you don't give a fuck about the fighters or you're pretending to give a fuck about the fighters. That's what I see. Now, I don't pretend to give a fuck about the fighters. I think that harsher restrictions and more framework is needed to get boxing to being a business, because the boxing that I grew up with, those guys understood you have to get paid what you weigh. You have to earn it. Those guys understood that. Nobody had to ask Roy to get the other belts. He did that on his own. Nobody had to ask Mike to get the other belts. He did that on his own. That's the way it was. There was an understanding that there is a status quo and a bar that is set that you have to keep. So a lot of this goofy shit that y'all see now, that didn't happen back then. We didn't sit around talking about it. We didn't. We talked about the fights because that was the focus. And
that's somewhere what's happening too, fights.
And after the Floyd Mayweather era, all manner of bullshit and gay shit comes into the conversation. Well, did you see his coat? He got the chain with the. Who fucking cares, bro? Who cares?
Yeah, it's nonsense. We argue more about the fights we don't get than the fights we do get nowadays, and these channels keep pushing that narrative. Here's something to add to the conversation about Zufa boxing. I happen to think Zufa boxing is going to be successful, right? On the back end of Zufa being a league and all that stuff, and Jairo Patai getting signed and the IBF going through all that, what are we watching right now? If we're paying attention, we are watching Dana White sign Conor Benn, somebody who's in deep negotiations with fighting Ryan Garcia for a WBC title. We're watching Richardson Hitchens come in. He vacated his IBF title, right? But still a champion, signed. We're looking at Edgar Berlanga, somebody who's still pursuing championships, sanctioning body belts. Zufa boxing is, with this Ali Act, they're going to have it. It's going to be a hybrid promotion. They're going to have the Zufa League, but there's something else cooking in the background that people are paying attention to.
I agree with you that there is a possibility that they could succeed. I say a possibility because I'm already seeing a lot of red flags that these guys don't know boxing. See, you sign an Edgar Berlanga, right? And for Zufa, that's a big acquisition because he's a known fighter. But what people know about him is that he sucks.
Right.
That's what. And what are you paying? And what are you paying for that polished turd? What are you going to waste on that fucking guy? That fucking guy should be fighting on Pro Box for $125,000. That's where that guy belongs. That's where that guy belongs. And Hitchens, you don't want to get paid what you weigh because you know you don't weigh much. They put you in New York. You headlined the show. What did it do? What the fuck did it do? That you seem to think, I know I don't sell tickets like that, but give me a bunch of money. And this is where I see, look, Zufa can be a good thing for certain fighters. It absolutely can. But I'm already seeing you guys don't know what you're doing.
Well,
You
I got to
don't know
push
what
back, Jules. Let me push back a little bit, right? They're not advertising to us, Jules. They're not marketing to us, Jules. They picked up Edgar Berlin because he talks shit. You know who they're marketing to? Guess where those guys were at over the weekend? WrestleMania, bro.
True.
Those guys, they are advertising to a whole new casual base. They gave up on us, Jules. The ones of us that hang around are going to hang around. They ain't fucking with us like that, Jules.
You
They
know what? I
fucking
didn't think of that.
They're
I
fucking
didn't
with
think
these
of that.
UFC fans, these young teeny boppers with the fucking foam fingers pointing up, screaming out Roman Reigns' name. What do you think is going to happen when Jai Opetaia stands next to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in a
Ooh,
wrestling?
you know
What do you
what?
think? What do you think
You-
these fucking these fucking Samoans are about to do, bro? It's about to go crazy.
You
The
know
people that
what?
are gonna
I
pack
didn't
these
think of
arenas-
that. I
The people
didn't
who are
think
about
of
to
that.
pack these arenas ain't
I
finna
didn't
be us.
either.
We're gonna have to find a seat. Can I have this seat? No, somebody's sitting here. Damn, bro, my bad. Who are these 50,000 people in this arena? I know nobody in here. I know absolutely nobody in here. Yeah, sit down and enjoy the show. They're building it from the ground up, bro, and they're marketing to a whole different space. Ask yourselves how many Zufa boxing commercials did you see for the event coming up for the event coming up in May, or the last Zufa event they had. But I bet you talk to them WWE fans, they're gonna be like, all we've been seeing is Zufa boxing commercials, bro. They're building a whole off of a whole
You
new
know
fan
what?
base. And
I'm
that's
I'm
why
so glad. I'm so glad you said that, because I never looked at it from that side of the cube. I was looking at it from the regular conventional boxing fan side of the cube. And from that side of the cube, I'm like, this looks like a lost cause. These guys, you see how territorial the regular boxing fan is. They click up and clump up like a fucking clot, right? Dana
Mhm.
bad. Dana bad. And they don't think about it. Cause so and so said Dana bad. Dana bad. Zmufa bad. They're bad. And get charged fucking pay-per-view after pay-per-view. You fucking idiots are telling me that you have to resort to stealing this content as often as you do, and you don't see something wrong with that? You shouldn't have to steal it. Yo, Mickey Ward versus Arturo Gatti was not a pay-per-view. That was a regular fight.
In this era, they will make that pay-per-view.
Now, shout out to Sha, sexy West Indian. Sha knows I think she's sexy. She fucking understands this
I
shit.
know she is. What are you talking about? She knows
Sha's
it every day
sexy,
she
and
lives.
she fucking knows that I want her, but I can't have her. But she knows that shit. Shout out to Sha. Maka said, just wanted to say thanks for all you do in boxing. Appreciate what you do. I appreciate you, Maka. Shout out to Country. Man's got a good point. Sup, fellas? Yeah, he right. Now listen, I'm gonna let Claymore handle the shit. You hold it down for me. I'm gonna smoke this Newport 100.
Yeah, for sure. The reality though, guys, is, just to be honest, is that there's an era shift happening. We're in the middle of it. Hardcore boxing fans are going to have a hard time wrapping their minds around whatever Zufa's doing, because Zufa's marketing plan isn't built around rekindling the fire in us for boxing. That's just the truth. The ones of us, the hardcore guys, like my guy Jules just said, the guys who pay for the Danny Garcia and cuss themselves out in the mirror, but still stay loyal to boxing, will stay loyal to boxing for whatever it's worth. They're building off of a whole new fan base, man.
Thank you. Someone's finally said something smart.
I know you love that.
The degenerate boxing fans are gonna show up, whether to enjoy it or to complain or both. That's never gonna change. And the boxing fan that's gonna show up, they're nagging because they don't know what Zufa's doing. Like, everybody's jumping to conclusion with little information. Like, they have a 5-year plan. Let's see what it looks like in 18 months.
Yeah.
That hearing was a formality. Oscar De La Hoya was so unprepared, reading off a paper, couldn't even speak without reading a paper. Nick Khan just bodied him. Easy. Nico Ali Walsh is trying to be the Colin Kaepernick of boxing.
Oh man, I love that comparison. That was so on point, bro. Oh,
because whether we like it or not, Nick Khan did say, like, there's no merchandising in boxing right now. There's no trading cards. There's no action figures. There's no video games. There's nothing centralized there's nothing centralized in boxing as it is to get this other money involved, this influx of money? There's not. And as long as boxing, like Jules has said it, I've said, as long as boxing's on the zone in America, it won't grow.
Yeah, facts.
That's
Bro,
a fact. Because half the American public is never going to mess with the zone.
They're charging $45 a month, bro. Like it's still a wall. It's still a red line. It's still a firewall to the casual fan. How are you going to convince a casual fan to pay $45 a month on something they don't even know if they're going to like? That's coming off such a bad reputation. No, Paramount is the future. That style of promoting on a channel where you pay $8.99 a month, you get to watch a bunch of shit, other shit. You get to watch Landman. You get to watch fucking whatever the hell shows are on there, and then Zufa comes on a Sunday night. That's how you pull in new fans.
Hey guys, don't you think
you see your favorite fighter going into Monday Night Raw pushing your favorite wrestler to promote his fight? That's what they want to do.
Yeah, exactly. It's a whole new, and we gotta respect. You gotta respect the power of a real marketing team, right? Like Dana White. It's not about Dana White being a threat. It's that he brings a machine. He brings Nick Khan, who brings a machine. These guys have war rooms, you know what I'm saying, of people who are looking at the space and coming up with the perfect strategy to market and grow.
You just said it, brother. You just those people, they might, like Jules says, know how. They might not know how to do everything in boxing. They know how to make stars in every industry, whether it's movies, music, wrestling, MMA. Like they're former agents, so they know how to create a marketing team to make a star.
Yeah.
So that's know-how. I give them time to figure out boxing, but if you can control the networks, like he just said, there's no major American network other than Paramount putting money in boxing.
No, and what's Paramount working on doing? If they close, there's things going on in the background, like that whole Warner Brothers thing that they were trying to do. I don't know if they're still trying to do it.
They got they bought it. They beat Netflix out. Now it's just all that SEC shit and finalizing the deal. And Trump's going to sign off on it because it's a formality, because fucking Miriam Edelson fucking owns Paramount and she gave him money. So all that shit. Did you see the hearing? It was all a formality. The Ohio representative is asking Nick Khan, when are you going to bring WrestleMania to Ohio? And Oscar De La Hoya just looks so annoyed. Like, Oscar, you're so unprepared, bro. You're out your league here, bro.
Back Thursdays, bro. Go do something.
Oscar's talking about Saudi sports washing money. Like, that motherfucker didn't take Saudi money to buy rings.
The audacity of this dude, bro. Honestly, I get annoyed that Turkey works with him still, but I just know that there's a bigger picture and that they're smart enough to just know they're just using somebody like an Oscar De La Hoya. At this point, I'm going to tell you what I believe. I believe Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy Promotions is on the PBC Amazon deal. I think they almost lost everything, and I think that his own stepped to Oscar and said, we're going to give you one last chance. Shut up and step to the side. Did you see how Oscar De La Hoya switched from Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia 2 will happen, not on my watch, to the next week, walking down the hallway going, no, the best fight is Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. That's the zone calling that boy 48 hours after he made that stupid video and telling him, you're not doing what you did with Virgil and Jerome Boots Ennis. The zone is getting into gear. They're recognizing the threat that's on the table, and they're taking over these promotional companies. They're letting Top Rank know that Xander and Boots is what we're interested in. We're not doing the protection shit no more.
You ever notice how Matchroom is moving right now? Because Matchroom is moving very aggressively. Aggressively.
They're
the one brand that can really hold up their own against, the rise of Zufa and all the fighters just signing over there.
Now, have you thought of this though? Like, there's a reason. Why wasn't Eddie Hearn at Senate? Why wasn't someone from Top Rank? Why only Oscar? Because he's the only one that knows what's coming.
Yep.
They can sustain themselves, but also I think the zone's beefing themselves up to be sold. Because they either want to go public or be sold, but because they're never going to get no inroads in America. Because how do you guys consume sports? Where do you go watch Arizona Razorbacks? I mean, Arkansas.
Ooh.
Where do you go watch the Arkansas Razorbacks? You don't go to the zone.
No,
so don't.
You don't go to watch the zone to watch NFL, NBA, MLB. So they're never going to grow in America.
Anybody outside of America that likes the NFL, the zone comes in handy. But in America alone, you get the least amount of value for the application the zone at.
You get the least amount of value, but we
No,
also pay the
listen,
most.
fellas, and Drew,
Exactly.
stop using your fucking sex voice, bro. You coming on here using your
He's
fucking sex
excited
voice.
because of Nick Khan and Zufa and what they did in the hearing. You know, he be creaming about that because he got his stocks on there.
Now you gotta think. Now you gotta think about this. And I understand that the average boxing fan, right? The average boxing fan probably never ran a business of any kind, and running a business could be as simple as what I'm doing here with content creation, or the nicks and dimes I used to sell when I was young. When you run a business, you got to have a mind for that, and a lot of people don't really have a mind for that. But the fact that you, the consumer, on a regular basis, on a monthly basis, are inundated with box office fights that you have to steal, you don't see anything wrong with that? You have to steal that content just to be able to watch it. And you don't see anything wrong with that? The existing framework doesn't work. You care too much about the fighters' bank accounts and not enough about your own. That's what I see. You're worried, they're going to go to Zufa and they won't have the ability to get sponsorships. Yeah, because Rayo had a bunch of fucking sponsors waiting, right? Yeah, because Hitchens, oh my God, Johnson & Johnson and Everlast and everybody were dying to sign Hitchens. The average boxer, and I'm literally talking about the average boxer, the problem is the boxing fan doesn't know who the average boxer is. In their mind, the average boxer is Shakur. The average boxer, they think that the average boxer is the boxer that's on television. They've no regard for, boxing is actually very big. There are thousands upon thousands of boxers that you know nothing about, some of which compete at champion and contender level. There are many, many boxers. And if you think that the average boxer has all these sponsors and all these endorsements that they should worry about going to Zufa, here's a newsflash. The average guy isn't sponsored by anybody. There are fighters that you know about that they're not sponsored by anybody. So that can't be the reason you don't go to Zufa. Like, I can't go over there because of all these fucking sponsors. What sponsors, bro?
Yeah.
You know that for wearing that stupid fucking uniform, that communism, they get paid for that.
Yeah.
Isn't that what you're supposed to? You care so much about the fighters. They get paid
The fighters.
for it.
How does he say the fighters? I care about the fighters.
Zufa is bad for the fighters.
Living in your $12 million mansion while your fighter is a part-time nurse.
He bought that. He bought that mansion. He bought that mansion.
Part-time.
He bought that mansion with Saudi money.
Bro, the wild shit is that boxing fans, what I think about boxing fans, honest to God, that's why I love boxing so much, because it really is the ultimate microcosm for life itself. The average boxing fan is not only an idiot, but a hypocrite. Like the average person walking the street. How do I know? Oscar just shitted on them for using Saudi money, but didn't you when you did Noche de of whatever? Yeah. He did business with Turkey. Hold on, let me get the door.
Yeah. Just now did business with Turkey too, because I believe Turkey paid for the Ryan Garcia Mario Barrios fight. You know what I'm saying? Still you're getting your little cut. It's Oscar De La Hoya is the biggest hypocrite I've seen in a long time, and maybe it's because of the clapback Thursdays, but that dude is 100% cringe, bro.
He's beyond delusional. What about this? Was it under this current Ali Act that Al Haymon and Richard Schaefer fleeced him for 300 plus fighters, or was it under this?
Drew, make a long story short, because we could do that all day. It's not corruption they're against. It's whose corruption. Because it's not corruption they're against. It's whose corruption. And the thing about Zufa is what they're doing is not corrupt. They're going through the proper channels. Yes, they're trying to have legislation passed. Yes, that's doing things the right way. For some reason, you want things to keep being done the wrong way, because you have Oscar De La Hoya, who has been accused by Juan Manuel Marquez, Shane Mosley, Ryan Garcia, Sergey Kovalev, Gennady Golovkin, Canelo Alvarez of stealing what? Of stealing fighters' money. But you care so much about the fucking fighters. This is the guy that you're going to use to champion. You see people in the comment section. Yeah, Oscar, get him. You fucking idiots.
Man,
it's back to what you said, Jules. They don't want oversight. They don't want to have to actually file to the IRS and the SEC. Where's the money at? What are you guys doing? They want no oversight.
Drew, the fans don't even know what they want. They don't even know why they're doing it. Because when you think about the fact that it doesn't benefit them at all, They don't even, they're just fucking walking blind, deaf, dumb, and blind. All the definitions of the word for a
NPC.
just, yeah, they have no idea. Even a goldfish is going to eat to live and won't eat if it's not hungry. Like, even a goldfish has some common sense about it. The boxing fan today doesn't even know what the hell they fighting for.
Listen,
don't
I'm
even know what the hell
telling
they arguing about,
I've
bro.
been on this planet for 500 years, and in all my studies that I sent back to the HQ in the Andromeda cluster, I told them 75% of humans are built to follow. 25% of humans are smart enough to lead, but only 5% of them are actually fit to do it. Some are smart enough to do it, but only 5% are fit to do it. These people are fucking morons.
Dumbasses.
Seriously.
So
like,
in
they're
500
By the
years,
way,
real
I think
quick, in
facetious on
500
that number.
years,
I'm assuming you have a very big family. You don't want, you know what I'm saying? I feel you on that number. You didn't want to go too crazy, but it's really more like 95% of humans are meant to follow. 3% to 4% have the knowing on how to manage this shit, but only 1% are actually good people who will do something positive.
Oh no, good. I didn't even. No, wait. I didn't even factor good. What would be defined as good into it? Because if I did that, yeah, the number becomes much smaller. Most people are not good people. I'm telling that most people are not good people. In the good, like, yeah, like most people are evil. Honest to God, like, yeah, most of them are.
So you got
selfish.
500 years of data. What's better,
It's
Earth
the
pussy,
invention of
or space pussy?
Space
Say it
pussy.
again?
That's not a space pussy. That's not even a contest. Space pussy has a tongue in it. Shout out to Justin. Julius, do you remember the Newport 25 pack? Simple. Bro, I remember when I used to be able to get 2 chicken wings and a box of fries with $2 fucking. I remember when Newports was $3.25. They was $3.25, bro. Simpler times. And all I'm saying is, listen, you can't. I don't expect the average Joe who has all his own responsibilities and all his own things to do. I don't expect you to be as well versed on the subject as I am, but I expect you to be humble enough to admit you don't know what you're talking about. So just listen. Stop arguing and just listen. It's the arguing, not knowing. There's a million things I don't know. How do I find out about them? I shut the fuck up and I listen. That's all. Stop arguing. All right.
You know,
the system is broken right now in this fucked up economy. The Zone has the nerve to tell you, yeah, yo, 400 and change. You get all these pay-per-view. 400 and change for entertainment. That's a lot. Should those fights even be pay-per-views?
No.
Moses Itauma versus Dillian White had to be a
shouldn't be.
pay-per-view. It
Shouldn't
had to
be.
be. Something's wrong. Now I'm gonna get my coffee. Drew, take it away.
Man, it's just wild to say that. You know, the best move today was Mauricio Suleiman deciding not to show up. He would have made himself.
He's still in the pocket, Drew. What are you talking about? He's fucking with Dana, bro. They're about to negotiate this fight, and they're about to go to Perspin. Remember, I told you that on this motherfucking Ryan Garcia, Conor Benn. Money.
I agree with you. He's gonna get taken care. But I mean, showing up to the hearing because he was supposed to speak. But they would have,
because he's not against this. He's fucking with it.
He knows because answering those questions when Nick Khan said like it's preposterous that you guys asked Terrence Crawford to pay an extra $300,000 to be a champion. He's like, that'd be like the Dodgers having to pay the MLB to be the World Series champ.
And
then he really embodied them when he said like Make-A-Wish purchased X amount of tickets for WrestleMania. Huh?
Is it on YouTube, by the way?
It was on Twitter. He's like the WBC says they're a nonprofit. They only purchased X amount of tickets to Canelo Crawford, and they asked for a suite for the president. He's like, Make-A-Wish spent like they bought like 3,000 tickets to WrestleMania. That's a nonprofit.
So only Nico and Oscar showed up at the meeting.
Of course, because nobody else cares.
Well, Mauricio don't care. You know something. That's crazy.
Nico, like I said, Nico's trying to be the Colin Kaepernick of boxing. My career's done. Let me see how I can finesse a bag.
Yo, I love that Kaepernick comparison, bro. That is so hilarious, bro.
I'm gonna see if Jules can Photoshop him kneeling on the next episode of the relay.
Taking a knee in the ring. One arm. He has half his hand braids, half in afro, on his knees in the ring, taking the knee, putting his fists up.
Yo, this dude had to look at his paper to say his name, bro.
Oscar, huh?
Oscar's a fucking clown, bro. This dude looked at the paper and read and said, "My name is Oscar De La Hoya." Really, bro? You can't just say your name, bro. That's how fucking cookie cutter, artificially flavored this
And
dude
that's
is,
how.
bro.
And Nick Khan spoke with no paper, no nothing, no
Cocaine's
notes.
fun, man.
No, he's a clown, bro. They're all on their way out the door. They're out of their league. Dana was right, bro. It's like beating babies, bro. These dudes
Why?
are
Where was Eddie Hearn at? Why wasn't Eddie Hearn there?
because
Because Eddie Hearn don't got to worry about that.
Yeah,
Shout
he's
out,
got
to,
his.
shout out to Eddie Hearn because he a dog. He about to fight. That's
Yeah,
what he's focused
Eddie,
on.
why did Eddie Hearn got to worry about that? You know, again,
Exactly.
the Ali Act is only in America,
Exactly.
first and foremost. Eddie Hearn is a worldwide promoter. That's second. Third, I don't think he was that. That's never really been a concern of his. Just to be frank, everybody got their issues, right? But that's not one of the issues that I would have.
Eddie knows.
with him.
Eddie knows. Eddie Matchroom made $10 million in profit from boxing last year. They made $30 million in profit from their other sports. And so, like, Eddie's fine because they could just sell Matchroom as a whole and they can be gone.
Yeah, Eddie too busy actually working. He's not like Oscar, bro. Oscar's like, where's Bernard Hopkins?
Yeah, where is Bernard been?
Yeah, exactly. Even he's jumped off that ship. He knows that this shit is straight bullshit. Cut me my little check. Cut me my little check every month, bro.
Let's see if we see him. We'll see if we see him at the fight. You know, for Zerdo and Benavidez.
Yeah, he'll probably be there. But even that fight's doing double wood.
I mean,
yeah, my peoples in Vegas told me ain't nobody fucking with that Benavidez. They're bringing people.
They're upgrading you. They're upgrading people to the 100s from this.
Yeah, they're pulling people down. They're taking their seats and they're upgrading them.
And I know it was just like they're legit. They were laughing, those senators, about, okay, can you bring WrestleMania to my state? You know, for the revenue.
Man,
Big Bank about to take Little Bank, man.
No,
they just don't want no oversight.
It's a whole different. It's a level of business acumen that Oscar De La Hoya has never been confronted with, bro. That's why he's even into. Think about why he's going to court with Virgil and what they're using on him. They're using his clapback Thursdays against him. You know, as a businessman, he doesn't even have the sense to shut the fuck up. And you know what I mean? Like, you got secrets that you're supposed to be like covering up, and he's in court, and they're going to be playing clapback Thursdays as evidence. You know what I'm saying?
Arbitration, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like some stupid rapper. You know what I'm saying? Who's just speaking about their crimes. These guys ain't ready for Dana. Dana's laughing at them like, these guys ain't ready.
Crazy. Oscar going out like a drill rapper.
He's gonna be telling the judge that that's just entertainment, right? Judge, that's just entertainment. I didn't really mean
like a drill rapper. That's crazy.
Then Nick Khan was like, look in boxing right now. You can't get a trading card, an action figure of your favorite boxer right now because that infrastructure doesn't exist. You can't find a video game with him. You can't find nothing to where it's like all these other sports. You can get an action figure. You can get trading cards.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. I mean, it's so much that's about to get poured into it. When, like you said about the video games, the trading cards, I mean, just all these different aspects, and it goes into what Dana said about the vision, right? Like, you know, the reason you guys are losing it because you guys have no vision. And, you know what I'm saying? All you see is stealing. You redlined a whole generation of boxing fans out of the sport, bro. You made everything pay-per-view. And most of the fans today, or the hardcore fans, are people who are in their 40s, who are watching boxing back in the day. The whole middle section of fans from let's say 2005,
35. If you're 35 and younger,
right? You don't even know what you're looking at. Look at the casual Gervonta Tank Davis fans. Look at them. They have no vision of the whole sport. If it ain't about Tank every single day, they're not talking about it, right? Because that's all they know, bro. They came in on the back end of Tank, Errol Spence, the Charlo brothers,
Wilder.
You know, Wilder. They don't know nothing else, bro. Why? Because they've been paying for PBC pay-per-views, bro. You know
well, like no, not even, because they haven't been paying, and that speaks to that speaks to the point that I'm making. The existing framework has led to little more than an uptick in piracy. That's it. All the major networks are gone. Like, you know, it's sort of a good thing, right? It's sort of a good thing that this many promoters have converged on one platform, because condensing things so you don't have to pay everybody a subscription fee, yeah, that's good. But there's another side to that coin. That is all the byproduct of American networks withdrawing from boxing. That shows you that the framework doesn't work, because all the American networks withdrew. Now, here's the worst part. What happens if the zone goes under?
One
Did you ever
shot, one
think of,
kill. All
did
your
you,
all your credit cards in one wallet. You put your social security, you put your credit cards, you put your ID, everything in one wallet. Your wallet fell down the drain, sit at home for about a week or two because you can't do shit.
This is back to the
because
fitness circuit.
because what they don't seem to understand is, and that's why Clay, I don't like talking to them, because I know I'm talking to little kids. You were stealing pay-per-views when PBC was on Showtime, when Top Rank was on ESPN. You were stealing shit. Now that they're not on there and they're on Amazon or they're on the Zone or wherever they are, you're still stealing shit. You're still stealing shit. And what you don't seem to get is none of this stuff that you advocate for makes for a sustainable business, because you never ran one. And worse, you're not the head of your household. I can tell. So you're not fit to be in this conversation. What I'm telling you is you shouldn't have to pay for all this stuff. Stop advocating for fighters to ask for money they're not good for, because that's why you have to steal the content. You should be getting this content as part of a subscription. But you think that every Devin Haney and every Shakur Stevenson and every Teofimo Lopez and every fucking fighter under the sun is supposed to make buku dollars. They're not. No business that works is like that. No, the majority of fighters, it sounds fucked up, but it's the truth. The majority of fighters don't belong on pay-per-view. The majority of fighters are not big ticket sellers. Boxing can only go back to being a draw once it's affordable, because when it was affordable, that's when it was at its biggest. When it was affordable, when every decent fight didn't end up behind a paywall. What you're advocating for is more of the same, which you can't even afford. You fucking idiots. You can't afford boxing, but
Nope.
this is the system you're protecting.
And Jules wants his fighters to go into the ring maybe a little 30 days, 60 days behind on the rent and a mortgage. He wants those kind of guys in the ring.
Listen, I want fighters. Listen, I want fighters that got cheated on. I want fighters that are going through a divorce. I want fighters that got child support, Con Ed bill. I want fighters that are hungry to fight, that boxing is their way out, because when it was that way, that's when boxing was a mainstream sport. Boxing was your way out. You had no choice but to focus on it. Now you got boxers want to be barbers, want to be real estate moguls, want to be rappers, want to be streamers, fashion models, influencers. No wonder. And it's American boxing. It's not other boxing. It's not Japanese boxing. Japanese boxing is now bigger than it ever was. UK boxing is now bigger than it ever was.
Sold out. Monster Inoue, Nakatani sold out 50,000 seats, bro.
55,000
seats in like hours, in like 2 days, 2-3 days.
It's American boxing. It's clearly, this is a uniquely American problem, because America used to be the hub. You used to have to come here to make money. Yeah, you had to. That's the way it was. The reason it's not like that anymore is everything I said. You can't make money from pay-per-views that people steal. You know that, right, guys? All those pay-per-views that you steal all fucking year, nobody in the industry is seeing none of that. And you say, well, what's one person? Yeah, if enough people say that shit, the whole industry collapses. The whole industry. Y'all don't care about fighters. Y'all don't care about no greater good. Y'all don't care about nothing, which is why y'all need to shut the fuck up and let the real customers like me talk, because y'all don't pay for shit. Most of those the majority of those pay-per-views that you bums look at, right? You know that I pay for them? I'm not a thief like y'all, honestly. I know that sounds elitist. Maybe I am elitist. Drew's elitist, right?
You're Capricorn.
You should be. I took off my elitist glasses in the beginning of 2026. That's why I'm not saying much. I used to be able to do that, but I said, fuck y'all. Y'all playing with me. Yeah, I had a code that I wasn't going to jack pay-per-views. I would not watch it. I remember being on the Danny Garcia live with you, hearing about how the fight went.
My God.
And then watching the highlights.
And here's what I'm saying. It's
that crazy Jules who paid for that, bro. You talking about Danny's last fight?
Yeah. I paid for it. Yeah.
Wow.
Listen, bro, Bro,
That's hard body.
For me, it's not complicated. I'm a big believer in karma. I've seen it happen so many. I'm a big believer in karma. I
Right.
make my money from boxing. So what
Fact.
the fuck does it hurt me to put some
You're right.
back into the industry that
Yeah.
pays me? The industry pays me, whether it's 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 on a video to hear what the fuck I said. Boxing pays me,
Damn, you know
so
what?
I'll
I think
pay
I paid
boxing.
for it too. Hold on, because I had to go on a website to pay for it. It wasn't on the zone, right?
Yeah, it wasn't on. It wasn't on the
Pay for
zone.
that dumb shit. I paid for that shit. Damn, I'm over here
It
clowning.
was like 20.
I
It was
gotta-
like 20
yeah.
something.
It was like
point that I'm
$29.99.
making- The
But you
point
know
that
when
I'm
I
making-
did it, Jules, in my mind, I said, bye, Danny. I shot Danny at 20. That's how I looked at it.
That's
I
how,
shot,
bro.
I was
Listen,
like,
I was
"Peace out,
just,
Danny."
I was just
like a
bored. Like, look,
GoFundMe.
it's cheaper than taking my son and my daughter and wife to the movies. It's cheaper.
Right.
It's way cheaper than that. So fuck it. It's 20 something. I got
Yeah.
$20 for you, Danny.
you
Go
go,
ahead,
bro.
get a haircut. Get a haircut, Danny, and a pair of Adidas, bro. Shout out to
Stop
you,
it.
Danny.
Stop
Right?
it.
Adidas
Stop it.
haircut.
Stop it.
Can I get a request though, Jules? The next
Where?
relay, can you Photoshop Nico Ali Walsh in the ring taking a knee like Colin Kaepernick?
Yeah, because he's the cap master. Like, bro, listen, Nico, listen. Nico is the only one of those guys that went over there today that I think he has his heart in the right place, but he
Right.
doesn't know what the fuck you're a nepo baby. You don't even realize it. You're Connor Ben. Yeah, you're the grandson of Ali. We don't know you because of how good a boxer you are, bro. Let's just be real. We don't know you for none of that. You're a nepo baby. A lot of the evils of this industry, you've been spared because you're a nepo baby. You not being any fucking good. Put Brandon Adams on ESPN before you put Nico fucking Ali Walsh, okay? Right? But how does a guy like you end up with a top ranked deal on the biggest sports network in the country? It ain't because you a good fighter. It ain't because you a good fighter. It's because you a nepo baby. So many of the evils of this industry that we're talking about, you haven't had to deal with none of that. No, nobody lied to you about your purse like Simpson Lukowicz lied to Edwin De Los Santos in front of everybody. And the only reason Edwin found out is because Keyshawn told him. Right? There are so many things that happen in broad daylight in this fucking industry that anybody arguing in favor of the existing framework, you're either an idiot or you have an ulterior motive. Oscar has an ulterior motive. The World Boxing Council has an ulterior motive. You guys, you're just fucking stupid. You're just idiots. That's all.
And the smartest thing Mauricio did, Jules, was decide not to actually go testify after all.
because it doesn't take much to make Mauricio Suleiman look bad. Think about it. Had he been sitting there when Nick Khan talks about the 300,000, the beautiful parallel, and he did it off the cuff, fucking Nick Khan, bro. I hope I look like that when all my hair turns gray. He said, yo, what they did to Terrence Crawford was the equivalent of the MLB taking the trophy away from the Dodgers to make it make sense. Like, yeah, that's fucking crazy, dog.
Crazy.
It's crazy. They win the series, and then after the fact, you say, "Well, you got to pay us, so we're gonna take the chip."
And then the parallel,
and then we're gonna give it to the other guy. We're gonna give
yeah.
it to the other guy, and he wins by default. We're gonna elevate the guys you just beat.
And then the parallel, when he did the parallel of the Make-A-Wish Foundation actually be a nonprofit compared to them.
No, and listen, today, not but 2 hours ago, you had somebody. There was a guy tells me, "Oh, the money that they take goes to charities." Like, you really believe that, bro? You really believe that?
Oh my God!
Oscar even said that in the hearing.
Bro, at least make them try. Make them give you good lies. You know what I mean? Make them.
No, honestly, yeah.
Lies. Don't just sit there and take anything they say. Make
and
them
that's
work.
why, and that's why I keep saying, Clay, these motherfuckers are morons. Like, yes, you too dumb for me to talk to you, bro. You think all that money they taking? Do you listen? Yo, shit. They sanction about at least 15 to 20 fighters in their rank standings across 16 weight classes. They're getting 3% out of all these purses, big and small. And you telling me that you really think that money is going to charity? Like, what do I gotta do? Do I gotta open up a school like Dr. Umar? Like, what do I gotta do? So you can learn to think critically? Mauricio is a con man. The WBA, they're con men. Dana White is not a good guy. He's not a nice guy, but he's a businessman. That's the difference. You keep saying that he's fucking over fighters with the way he does business when you don't understand business. You won't admit it, but you don't. Nobody at the UFC is getting fucked over. Nobody is. What they are doing at the UFC is running a tight ship. The fighters don't like it, but guess what? If you don't like the way that Dana does business, then go fight for the PFL.
But
Go
guess
fight at
what?
K1. Go fight at K1. If
But
you
the
don't
deal
like
ain't
Dana
sweet
White,
over there. It's sweeter. No matter how they look at it, they all come back to UFC because that's what the litmus test is. The litmus
Listen.
test is they not leaving. They staying
Rico-
right there.
Rico Verhoeven said it, right? And this is free market capitalism. This is the way the world works. Rico said they wanted to bring me to the UFC, but I was getting more at K1. Get out there. If you're worth it, it's out there. Get out there and get what you're worth. If you're worth it. The problem is, it's the hard part. A lot of y'all are not worth it. Who the fuck is a Sean O'Malley without the UFC? Who the
Period.
fuck is that? Who the fuck is a Patty Pimblett without the fucking UFC? Are you joking? He gave y'all a platform. Well, really the Fatata brothers, but still, you know, like motherfuckers just want you listen, you don't know this about life. Yeah, everything don't work. You got to make do with what you got. The UFC is what MMA fighters got. If you want to get seen and you want to get known, get to the UFC. That'll do it. But it's not your show. What I do like about what Dana White does, what I do like, is good and bad. It has pros and cons, is that he doesn't let one individual fighter wreck the industry, because we see a lot of that in boxing. You got a whole WBO champion in Devin Haney, and that title is not in circulation because nobody's going to give you the money you're looking for, bro. You want too much. Same with you, Rolly. You a whole WBA champion with a whole mandatory in the queue, but you're not fighting. Why? Because y'all think y'all cash money. Y'all really think y'all top billing. And you put the pay-per-view out there and nobody fucking buys it. You put the tickets on sale and they don't fucking sell out. And these are the people that, yeah, they should get 3-4 million in fighters. We got to worry about. No, the fighters are the problem. The fighters are the problem. They want too much. If boxing is too expensive right now for the common man to watch it, it's because of the fighters.
But you got to pay the fighters, and UFC doesn't pay the fighters.
The fighters who I love, the fighters. Shout out the country. A lot of these fans are not real, just fanboys. Real fans actually enjoy multiple divisions and follow them. Put boxing first. You can't go wrong. It's real shit. That what we're advocating for, or at least, you know, I think we all are, is a more affordable sport to the consumer so that more people can watch it, because the more people watch it, the bigger it becomes. The more money content creators like me and Clay can make with our content, right? It's a trickle-down effect. When boxing is popping, and I'll give you an example. When Wilder and Joshua was a conversation, boxing was in way better shape than it is now, right? On average, if I did a video about Wilder and Joshua, I'm raking in $200 and $200 or more from a 17-minute video. I shit you not. And that was on average, because when boxing is booming, business is booming. So I want business to be booming. I want you to be able to afford it. I want you to be able to watch it. I want the broadcasters to get big numbers for the fights they do. I want the promoters to make money from their events. I want everybody to win, but we can't win like this. We can't.
You want an erection when Devin Haney gets knocked out.
I'm going to have an erection when Gina and Ronda fight. Okay?
Oh my
I'm
God.
getting one now just thinking about
Gina
it.
looks so good, bro, at that last presser. God.
Yeah, she a bad bitch.
Tell you, bro. Bad bitch, man. You know what I'm
I
saying?
ain't gonna lie to you.
You got to eat that ass.
Gotta eat it, bro. You know what I'm saying? She's so soft spoken. She'll even say shit. Yeah, I'm Gina Carano. I'm really sexy. I'm just gonna stand here and look cool. Like, she's just fucking hot, man. And
Little
I want everybody to win. But the thing is, this is not sustainable. It's like the Showtime thing. When I told them that, listen, Showtime's gonna walk away from the sport of boxing. You guys just don't know how these deals work. When the deal ends and Showtime has to look back on what they paid for, they're not gonna renew. And I got called all sorts of shit.
Racist.
All sorts of, I'm helping y'all out. I'm telling you, they're not gonna renew. I'm telling you, Fox is not gonna renew. Showtime is not gonna renew. What happened to ESPN? Look, similar shit. The point being, right? The way y'all think is not sustainable. The existing framework is not sustainable. It's not. Rolly having a belt is not good for boxing. I'm telling, no, it's not, because it's not resulting in you guys buying pay-per-views, selling tickets. Like, no, it's not. What's going on now is to the detriment of the sport. So if somebody with a lot of money wants to introduce an alternative, you know what I say? Let them try. It can't be any worse than what the fuck we looking at. It can't. What we're
It
looking at
literally
is,
can't. And if it is, then the sport was dead anyway.
there you go. There you go. All right.
And I
You
think that's
gotta,
why Bob Arum didn't show up today. He knew it was a formality. Why am I going? What do I need to do? I know how to do what I do. The guys that showed up are the guys that are grasping, that are going to be the first ones out.
Let me tell you something. That Brit, and I would want to shake his fucking hand, because that's how you supposed to get down. Eddie motherfucking Hearn ain't worried about no Dana White, bro. He's
Shout
not
out to Eddie, bro. I'm telling you, talk to him, Jules.
He's
Eddie,
not
my
worried.
guy.
Like, bro, I'm Eddie motherfucking Hearn, bro. Do you know who I am? I'm Eddie. I don't gotta worry about you because you doing a Mark Maxayo fight at the Apex, homie. I just did Lee Wood last fight. That shit sold out. The fuck? I could do a fucking Lee Wood fight in Nottingham that sells more than any Zufa card, bro. I'm not worried about y'all.
Period.
Y'all do y'all thing. And what he said, yo, y'all smart and y'all got money, and yo, do y'all thing. But I'm not worried about y'all, man. Oh, because you want to pay Conor 15 mil. Go ahead, because we wasn't going to give him that. Yeah, not for one fight. Not for one fight. What kind of business is that? Yeah, let's give Conor one fight. 15
Fuck,
mil for
that's Eddie Hearn. The motherfucker make more off fucking darts and snooker than boxing.
You know what I'm saying? Eddie motherfucking Hearn out here, bro.
He's not worried. Everybody.
What the fuck is snooker, though?
Matter of fact, he got excited. He got
Oh,
excited.
snooker.
Like,
They call pool snooker.
Dana coming over here?
Yo,
like, Dana coming over here?
They call
listen,
pool.
Frank,
I didn't know they call pool snooker.
Listen, listen. Frank Warren got shot. I think it was Mickey Duff that shot him. Mike Tyson punched him in his fucking face over a fucking watch, right? This guy. You think he was shit in the bed and getting up to go pee when he heard Zufa want to do shows? Go ahead, do shows in the UK. Go ahead. Go ahead. Y'all show gonna do more than ours. Oh, because you got kind of Ben that nobody like. Go ahead. Do your show. Go ahead. Nobody, the real guys, Bob, listen, they know this business. They know what I know. I hope y'all do well, Zufa. I'm not rooting for y'all to fail, but there is a chance that you do.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna fail, but I hear you for real, because at the end of the day, this sport will eat you up, chew you up, and spit you out.
Yo,
but
boxer,
the reality is they got a good team and a good chance because of the team.
Nick Khan gives me hope. Mark Shapiro. When I think of who's over there that knows how to make shit work. Look, more than Dana White, Nick Khan. That's why he was the one that was there today. Mark Shapiro. These are the guys, you look at them like these are capable, formidable people. These are people of substance, right? So I hope y'all do well. But what Zufa is doing is not that dissimilar from what Boxer did on Sky. When you think about Boxer starting on Sky, they started off with a great starting point. You got a standout Olympian in Ben Whitaker, few familiar faces in Chris Billum-Smith, Richard Riakporhe. You have an Olympic gold medalist in Lauren Price, Natasha Jonas, Savannah Marshall, these women that people know. And you got a couple of good guys there too. You got the captain of Team GB, Fraser Clark. You actually started off from a great starting point on a media giant in the UK. Sky is very well known, right? It's in a lot of households. And even with all that, your lack of know-how ran the shit into the ground. Because at the end of the day, it's not going to be money that determines this. It's going to be know-how. It's not going to be money. You could look, you got a fine piece of ass and you got a lot of money and you don't really know what to do with that piece of ass. Well, you're just going to end up spending a lot of money then. Whereas Drew will come in with his cock ring and his smile, he'll tell a couple of jokes, you don't got to spend shit. Gets a blowjob, eats a sandwich. Fucking Drew, right? It's going to boil down to know-how. And I don't want them to fail, Clay, but I'm just saying, I don't think Dana and Mark and Nick know more about selling boxing matches and boxers than Eddie. No. Than Frank. No. Remember, you're no matter what's going on in your establishment, you are still selling the same product that they are. And the reason that I'm starting to look like I don't know if this is going to work. I'm not rooting for it to fail, but I don't know if it's going to work. Is because you're still selling what they're selling, and they know much more about it than you do about developing fighters and marketing angles and strategies. And look, Conor Ben looked amazing at Matchroom. How does he look now with Zufa?
Yeah.
He looked amazing
Yeah,
at
Keith,
Matchroom.
what-
Yeah, let me tell you. Let me tell you why.
Clay,
he's
real
gonna
quick.
work
We
out.
gotta celebrate. We got him to the afternoon talks after 12. He's not even at his
Listen,
old man nap
listen,
yet.
listen,
You gotta be
no, listen.
positive.
I'm about to wrap it up because I want to do the next episode of the relay. But yeah, like I don't mind Sunday boxing, and I don't mind and Drew knows this. Everybody knows this. A competitive market is a healthy market because then that means there's more than one source of revenue that's being generated. There's content, and the powers that be, they have to stay on their toes to deliver me, you, Clay, Herb, Drew, and everybody in the chat. You got to deliver the best content possible. So we win. We win from that. A competitive market is a healthy market, is a good market. So I'm all for Zufa entering into the space. Look at the schedule that Eddie Hearn's kicking out. He's showing them, I'm better than you. I'm better than you. I'm fucking better than
That's
you.
why Zufa is good though, Jules, because worst case scenario is making Eddie move the way he's moving. It's making the zone move the way they're moving. It's just the worst case scenario is still a win for us, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, Drew.
Mauricio's biting his fucking nails right now. I love it. Go ahead, Herb.
All right now, Zufa, we got Power Slap, we got UFC. How far can they get with this shit here, along with the boxing? I mean, because nobody's really checking for the Power Slap, nobody's checking for the, so I don't,
Nah,
I
you're
don't know.
bugging, bro. People are checking for him. We ain't checking for it.
No,
Listen,
can I admit something to y'all? Can I admit something to y'all?
Go ahead, bro.
About 2 weeks ago,
you're watching people getting slapped. Go ahead.
Power Slap landed on my lap, bro. And I ain't stopped since, my nigga.
I told you.
I was at work, bro, and it popped because the thing is I couldn't sign in because for a while I had my sign in going in, but you got the work firewall, and I had to clear all my cookies out, and I can't get back in, so it just give you whatever popular videos, and I clicked on it.
Listen,
Let me tell you
Listen,
something.
you watching Samoan smack the shit out of somebody,
Bro, let me tell you something. They had a former WWE champ come up on there, and he got in the third round. He got a slap. They got the KO, bro. Listen. It's good entertainment, bro.
Somebody slap somebody.
It's entertainment.
You're gonna watch the slap back. You're gonna be like, I'm gonna leave after I see him slap him back because hell no.
I get a headache watching that shit. Just watching 2 slaps, I got a headache and I'm walking away.
Yo, check it out.
I can't watch.
So check it out. Here's the thing. Check it out. So, you got to think about Zufa in 2 facets. There are the fights and the situations that Turkey is going to finance, and then there is regular Zufa, which is Opataya versus Glanton, Boachuk versus Mosley, and that is how I think of Zufa when I think of okay, what are you guys actually doing? I think about the 5 cards that they actually did, and I evaluate the quality of the product. Like this is grassroots, bare bones. Was it a good card, and was I entertained? I say yes, I was entertained. Those were not the biggest names, but Pro Box doesn't have the biggest names, and they put on some great fucking fights. So this could work if the fights are consistently entertaining and they don't have to clash with, because if it's a Matchroom show and on at the same time as a Zufa show, forget it, bro. They're gonna watch the Matchroom show. But y'all smart. Y'all put it on a Sunday, right? Keep doing that. That way you don't lose no eyes. You don't have nothing cannibalizing the weekend. Keep doing that. And just focus on action fights. Focus on fights. Honest to God, this sounds so stupid and infantile, but it'll work. Focus on people getting beat the fuck up because that's what goes viral. Focus on, the way Vosdick got knocked out, y'all need more of that because that's what people want to see. If it ends up on a TikTok, or a reel on Instagram or YouTube. Yeah, who cares where it happened? That motherfucker got knocked out. Shit. right?
They
And
already
that's
got 2 knockout of the year candidates on the events. They got 2 of them. They got that young bull Alex Della Cerda, whatever his name was, the last minute replacement, and they got the Russian dude. You know what I'm saying? Who knocked homie out? I think. Listen, bro, and the overhead's low. They're in the apex. They're doing it
yes.
the right way, bro. They're delivering it.
No, and you hit that's very adult to highlight that they're not breaking the bank. They're not fucking off money to do Boachuk versus Mosley. You know what I mean? They're not
Nope.
fucking off money to do Opataya versus Glanton. This is very smart because a lot of the boxing people, with the exception of just a few, you know, most promoters, even the big ones, most of them, they're in the red for the average show. When Matchroom does a Hitchens versus Camboso's fight, they're in the red. They're in the red. They didn't make no money off that shit. You see? Whereas you do Opataya versus Glanton at the fucking Apex, what the
Yeah.
fuck did that cost?
You heard
Like,
every fan in there. You heard them screaming, bro. Every Samoan, it just made the experience. I had somebody who was in there, a friend of mine who was in there. He told me the shit was lit. He said it was small, but he was like, he couldn't believe the energy that was in there. They're doing it the right way, bro. They are. So can they fail? Yes, but there's a good chance this team is bringing those elements, right? Like Dana White is not in the courtroom talking to Congress. Nick Khan is. Nick Khan isn't putting the fights together and the cards together. Dana is. Turkey isn't in there. You know what I'm saying? They got the right guys in the right places. They can fail, but these guys got a pretty good shot, bro, in comparison to what I've seen.
And the shit is that we're the fans. You know, we're the I'm curious to look. I'm curious to see what y'all could do. I'm here for all of it. If you fail, if you don't fail, I'm here for all of it. So we'll reconvene on the late night boxing talks. I got to get working on the next episode of the relay.
Hey,
I see y'all
early, man.
Holla.
Look, we got another fight this weekend.
Who?
We got Krishan Rock. How you like it?
Hey, listen.
Throw them
I'm
hands.
gonna
Throw them
see what
hands,
she looking
Jared.
like. I'm gonna see what she looking like though. Holla at y'all later.